the nearer you come to a calm mind, the closer you are to strength. And all of that sounds really good, doesn't it? It even sounded good 1,800 years ago when the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said it. So, and it still holds true today, doesn't it? Calm your mind today to be stronger today. Wow, pretty cool thought, isn't it? How does that work? You've got to rest to rebuild. So rest to rebuild, and that's what we're going to do in this next 1 hour. Hi, I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. That's Bonnie and Piper back there, and this is your yoga from home. It's your personal yoga where you do it your way. You do it your way to do what is right for your body, because everybody's body is different. Every day is different. Different aches and pains crop up here and there. You know, respect them. Respect them, and don't hurt yourself in the practice. Today's practice is different from every other practice. Every day we do something different. Check us out. Tomorrow we do weights and combine Pilates for strength, and yoga and Pilates and bar and what's the other thing we do? All right, it just slipped my mind. All right, so anyway, but today is all relaxation and rest. Sundays and Thursdays, this is what we do. So stick around for however long you can. All right, so don't stress, don't take it too seriously. Do what's right. All right, so the word to think about as you practice today is recalibrate. Yesterday the word was calibrate. It means to align, to line things up and pay attention and find those little markers and let it be. To recalibrate, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. We are constantly readjusting, right? You're constantly readjusting, figuring out the correct range for you. So do that, recalibrate. All right, so today, you're going to need some props, and the props you're going to need today are your little towel and an eye shade if you have that. It's a great thing to have. Pamper yourself. They're not very expensive, or have a dear friend make you one. 2 yoga blocks, those come in handy. A large blanket, a yoga blanket. You've got a blanket lying around. Grab it. Maybe even socks on your feet feel good. Be near a wall, because we're going to finish in legs up the wall, which is a great treat. And a big bolster, big heavy pillow from your sofa. But buy a yoga bolster. They're extra special. They're firm, but not too firm. Soft, but not too soft. It's just what you need. And as you come into this fall season, take care of yourself, Just take care of yourself a little bit more. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, have some water handy too. We're going to come into pentacle pose. Everybody can do that one. It's nice and easy and peaceful and calm. So let's do that. So come on into a pentacle pose, and as you work your way down to the ground, lock in a stress number. We do this every day. On a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, what's going on with you right now? Remember that number. Don't overthink it, and we'll come back to it in the end. So come to fully reclined. Oh, enjoy the getting here. The getting here is the best part. All right, lift your arms up overhead. Spread your legs a little bit wide. Sigh it out. And come into this pose, which is called pentacle pose. We're going to have several brief pentacle poses throughout the course of today's practice. They help you reset, and it just helps you bring everything back to the midline. Now the secret is just let go. Let your pinky toes fall toward the mat. Let your shoulders be plugged into the earth, as are the backs of your arms and hands. Soften in your face. Take some deep breaths in through your nose, and big breaths out through your mouth. Soften the area between your eyebrows. And breathe. We talk a lot in yoga about the warrior and the caregiver breaths. As you inhale, your chest puffs up and you feel strong. You pick up space. That's your warrior. But every inhale has to have an exhale. And that exhale is your caregiver. It's where you let go, where you release. Let all the tension go away so you can face the next big breath in, the next warrior pose. Breathe and release. You can't have one without the other. And today is a day to let the caregiver rule. Don't worry about any other time than the here and now. Let the thoughts go as you truly absorb and appreciate this little bit of time you have on your mat. Big breath in, and big breath out. You can stay here longer in this warrior pose if it's working its magic in your body. I'm going to move into a supported child's pose on the bolster. So you decide, stay here or join me in child's pose. To come out of the pose, slowly lower your arms down. Let them be heavy and just be aware of them. Bring your legs a little more together and roll on over and find your bolster. Bring it vertically onto your mat and find a block too. Bring the block to the top of your mat and slip the bolster between your legs. So your knees are maybe at about, a third of the way up the bolster. Position the block so you can rest your head on the block and your chest can rest on the bolster. Adjust your block so the height feels right for you. And imagine your spine as long, one straight line, a nice alignment, and rest here. Hardest part is letting the chest fully release onto the bolster. Send your tailbone to the back of the room. Make those little adjustments. Nobody gets it right the first time. True about a lot of things. Adjust it so it's really comfortable. So I've got the block kind of on the bridge of my nose, so my forehead is resting on it. Arms wherever you like. Maybe you like them down by your sides. Maybe you like to rest the forearms on the mat or reach the arms to the top of the mat. Get comfortable here and find peace in your breath. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. As you surrender to your bolster and let all the tension in your body go. Eventually close your lips and try to breathe in and out of your nose only. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And if you're feeling antsy and your thoughts are racing, that is so common. It really means that you need your yoga. Let your thoughts go and just try to experience the stillness and the calm. If you would like to stay here in your supported child's pose longer, absolutely do that. Stay here. I'm going to move into a toes pose. And if you'd like to join me there, we can make our way out of this. But remember, if you want to stay right here, this is the place to be. To come out of the pose, slide your arms down, press into your hands, come up off of the bolster. Bring the block down by your feet and slide the bolster up to the top of your mat. Turn the bolster so it's horizontal at the top of your mat. Take your block, tuck your toes under towards your shins, and place the block behind your heels. Bring your shoulders up over your hips in alignment. And let's rest here. Rest. Hands to your thighs. Take a deep breath in and a deep shoulder softening breath out. You're getting into the toes, you're getting into the feet and into your foundation. It's a tough pose. If it hurts, if there's pain, hinge forward and come out of it. Maybe even take a couple little breaks here and there by hinging forward and coming out of it. And then try to come back into it. Nestle in, hands to your thighs, and breathe. Feel what you feel in the feet. Distinguish between pain and discomfort. If it is painful, come out of it. Hinge forward. But if it's just uncomfortable, challenge your mind a little bit and stay here. Breathe through the discomfort. Soften in the shoulders. Soften in the eye sockets. Soften in the toes. few more deep breaths. And we'll come out of the toes pose. And when you're ready, hinge forward a little bit. Know that every storm ends, right? And you come out of it. Remove the block. Hands to the mat. Neutral tabletop. Lift your feet up. Take it really slowly. Squeeze and scrunch your toes. Feel that cramping in the toes. Let it go. Circle your ankles in one direction, then in the other, and then tap the tops of your feet out. That's kind of fun. Tap them out on your mat. Briefly, have a seat back onto your heels and come into a little bit of an ankle pose. You can use your 2 blocks if you like. Press into the blocks and pop on up to the tops of your feet and let your knees come up, and you're balancing on the tops of your feet. So you're stretching your ankle in the opposite direction of what we just did in the toes pose. Press into your hands, either into your blocks or into the mat. Just let the ankle be stretched in this motion that it probably doesn't get very often. You take it as far as feels right for you. Maybe that's not very far at all. It's all right. The range of motion is where it needs to be. Just work on it. Don't judge yourself. Don't be critical. When you're ready, come out of your ankle pose and let's go into a Sphinx pose. So you got your bolster at the top. Come on down, put your forearms onto the bolster and bring your belly on down to the mat. Now, it's a pretty deep bend in your low back. If it doesn't feel super comfortable, just roll the bolster away and come down to your forearms. You could take a block if you're on your forearms and rest that bridge of your nose on the block. Maybe that feels nice today. I'm going to use the bolster. Forearms nestled in. Gaze is kind of down the nose. And just settle in here for about 3 minutes. And if at one point, it doesn't feel so great, take a break. Go back down to the forearms. The secret, make it work for you. You've been here for a little while now. Have you been clenching your glutes? Are you holding them really tight? If so, try to soften in the glutes. let it go. Create space for your low back. Think of your glutes going to the sides of your mat as you let the tension go from them. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's slide it on down to a crocodile pose. You could also flip over onto your back and go back to a pentacle if you prefer. But I'm going to remove the bolster or the block if you're using it, slip it on away so you can come down to your mat. For crocodile pose, elbows to the sides of your mat, hands stacked. Forehead rests on your stacked hands, feet at the two bottom edges of your mat. Rest here. You could also flip over and go back to that capital letter X shape, that pentacle shape, if you like that. You decide what feels best for your body right now. Take your big belly breaths. If you're in pentacle pose, like the capital letter X on your back, really fill your belly up with air, sending it up to the sky. If you are in your crocodile pose, like I am, think of your belly. Push your belly hard into the ground as you fill it up with air, and then release. Let the earth work with you to deflate your belly. Big breaths in and big breaths out. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. You can stay here if you'd like. You have another choice. You can stay, you can always stay where you are. Or let's go into either a fish or a supported, similar pose to a fish that is just a little kinder and gentler. So press on up. You're going to need to set up here. I'll set up with the kinder, gentler incline first. You decide what you want to do. So I'm going to bring one block standing up at the top of the mat, and then the other block like an L shape. Place the bolster on it, and here's where you can find your blanket and your eye shade, because we're going to be here for a while. So here's what you can do. Scoot your bottom up next to the bolster, Fish is the other option. So if you want to wait for that, hold on a second or get ready for fish. And recline here. Recline here, cover the eyes, cover the legs, cover the body with the blanket. Maybe that feels best for you today. Fish pose, which we also did yesterday on the blocks. We're going to do it today for a little bit longer as promised. So bring that bolster onto your mat vertically. Scoot your bottom on up to the base of it. Blanket, however you want to cover up. And come to reclined on the bolster here. Find the sweet spot, recalibrate, find what's right for you. Cover the eyes with the eye shade or the towel and nestle in. So here's the deal. The pose you're in is a big chest opening pose. Let your shoulders come back down toward the earth and just kind of envelop that bolster. Feet, legs, you can have a variety of ways. You can have the feet bent if that feels better on your low back, soles of your feet on the mat. You could create like a little fishtail, opening up the knees to the side, letting the feet, soles of the feet touch. Or just keep the legs long, or play with it. So this pose, we're going to stay in for about 7 or so minutes. It seems like a long time, but just let it work its magic. So that's why it's important to get comfortable here. Arms down by your sides, or wherever feels good. Maybe palms face up, and breathe. I'll let you know when the time is up. Deepen your breaths. Mind out of the outside world. Focus inward. Let everything go because nothing else matters. Just breathe. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Stay here longer if this is speaking to you. I'm going to move on to a brief pontoon pose and then legs up the wall. If you'd like to join me, roll off of your bolster to one side or the other. Remove the blocks or the bolster. And then slip the bolster horizontally under your low back. You could do this with the blocks too. Place it under your low back. Send your legs long and feel the big stretch in the hip flexors in the front of your body. Arms down by your sides. We're not going to be here long. Breathe. Adjust the bolster as you have to. You can stay here or go into legs up the wall. You can literally move to the wall, or if you don't want to go that far, or you don't want to move that much, just bend your legs. Send your knees up over your hips, and then send your legs up on the bolster. And enjoy it here. If you would like to make your way to the wall, slip the bolster out, make your way to the wall. Maybe bring your blanket, eye shade, whatever speaks to you. Scoot one hip up next to the wall. Bring your legs up the wall. Cover up with the blanket, however feels comfortable for you. And let it be. Arms, wherever feels really good for you today. Let it go. So with your legs up the wall, draw your toes closer to your shins and imagine your low back plugged into the earth. Now, the legs up the wall pose is good for so many things. For calming an anxious heart, for circulation, and something to think about. With the legs up the wall, if your back is tight, if your low back is tight, the problem could really be in your hip flexors. And this is a nice pose to allow those hip flexors in the front that we just stretched out a moment ago in our pontoon pose, to let them relax, and therefore let your low back relax. So let it work its magic as you find peace in this pose. We'll be here for a little more than 5 minutes, maybe about 7 or so, or longer if you choose. Remember your options. If your low back isn't liking this so much today, bend your knees and let the soles of your feet be on the wall. Maybe that's a little kinder and gentler today. Other options with your legs include bringing the knees closer to the wall with the soles of the feet touching, kind of like an open book. Perhaps another option is to open the legs long and wide in the shape of a letter V, letting the pinky toes work toward the earth, keeping your low back plugged in, and doing what just feels good for you. not much longer here. But revisit your shoulders. Are they away from your ears and down on the mat? Revisit your tailbone. Is it down, down, down on the earth? Deep breaths. You are at peace, and this moment is good. Take a deep breath in and a fully deflating deep breath out. Stay here longer in your legs up the wall pose if you would like. I am going to come off the wall and go into a final Shavasana pose. You decide where you want to be. I'm going to bring the legs off the wall the same way I came onto the wall. Rolling over into a fetal position. Maybe stay here. I'm going to make my way back to the mat. And for today's final Shavasana, I'm going to take the bolster and bring it underneath my knees. The eye shade and the towel, I'm going to bring those up by my shoulders, and I'm going to open this blanket up all the way, cover up the feet, bolster underneath the knees. Eye shade covers the eyes, little blanket or little towel beneath the neck. Eyes covered, maybe fully cover up. You decide what works for you. We're going to rest here in our final Shavasana pose for about 6 minutes. Arms down by your side, legs spread a little bit. Knees are supported. Breathe. Keep the thoughts at bay. Just the last few minutes of your practice. Really challenge yourself to not think about anything. Focus on the waves of your breath, strengthening you and calming you. deepen your breath. With each caregiving exhale, soften a little bit more. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Stay here as long as you like, but try to keep those thoughts away. If it's time for you to conclude your practice, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Squeeze and scrunch your fingers, your toes to the palm and to the sole of your foot. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Spread your fingers and toes wide. Enjoy the movement here. On an inhale, reach high up overhead and take a big good morning stretch as you're just kind of reborn to a new you after you did your yoga. Sigh it out. Roll into a fetal position. Just scoot that bolster aside. Come into a fetal position using your low arms bicep as a pillow for your head. Eyes are closed. Savor the moment. This moment right here, right now, with a deep breath in and a deep breath out. As you're ready, slowly push on up to a comfortable seated position. Whatever feels good for you today. Eyes are closed. Hands to prayer center in gratitude for what you just did. Be proud of what you just did, what you just accomplished. Press your thumbs slightly into your chest. Lengthen up through your spine, shoulders over your hips. Neck is nice and long. Crown of the head lifts to the sky. Tuck your chin slightly to your chest, and then bring your ears back over your shoulders a little bit more. Take a deep breath in and a calming deep breath out. Gently blink your eyes open. You did it. You did a 1 hour long yoga practice. You know, sometimes I think the restorative practice is one of the hardest practices of the week because it's just hard, for me at least, to just stop the mind and to think, is this really helping me? But a way to see if it really is helping you, and it is to go back to that stress number. What was it in the beginning and what is it now? Stress is a killer. We all know that. We read about it all the time. You gotta just slow down. You gotta calm down. You can't be on charge all the time. So thanks for being here. Especially I want to thank Esther and Liz and Stan and Sherry and Tammy and Rena and Kelly and Barbara and Tim and Blake. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you were here. So as you go on with the rest of your day, as you face life today off of your mat, remember that your strength lies in your quiet and your confidence. And that is really true, isn't it? And that came from the Bible. That came from Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Have a great day, everybody. See you on your mats tomorrow. Namaste. Love you guys. Bye. Hey. Hi. How are you? You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Hi, Bonnie. Oh, well, so much for that. Have a good day, everybody. Bye. Oh, there you are. Just takes you a little bit longer. I'm with you. It takes me a little bit longer, too. Have a good day, everybody. Bye. It's beginning to look a lot like a new year is right around the corner, and that's a good thing. And we all kind of reset our clocks when the new year starts, don't we? Let 2023 be the best year yet, and why not? Start by doing your yoga every single day. And you guys are still here. I'm so thankful for that. Do your yoga every day and tell your friends about our yoga too. It's free for anybody and everybody, and it works for any body and everybody because you modify it. So invite your friends, give them a wonderful gift this year. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can visit our website. It's at www.316yoga.com. Stick with it. Don't give up, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Do your yoga every single day and challenge yourself to do just a little bit more. See you on your mats tomorrow.